Mulan is the 2020 live-action remake of the brilliant original animation Mulan, which is one of my favourite Disney animations of all time. Definitely one of my favourites of the Disney animation films. I love that movie. It's an inspiring tale. It has a brilliant main character. And I forgot this movie was releasing on Disney Plus for free now in December. And I know this review's a little late, but I didn't really care about the movie, but I didn't want to pay for it, so I watched it for free on Disney Plus. And live action Mulan is something that sounds like it'll be something pretty good, right? I mean, out of all the Disney live action adaptations they've done, a live action Mulan feels like it would feel right, feels like it'd be something really epic and really, really well done, if done really, really well, and if balanced together the goofiness from the original and also giving us something pretty much epic and hitting those same emotional beats in the original. A live-action Mulan could be something really, really excellent, and this movie is the blandest version of a live-action Mulan they could have made. There are some changes to the original, and as a remake as itself, I wouldn't say it's bad in any way. It's just very mediocre for me, and I found this movie very disappointing. It felt very, very bland to me. It felt like it had nothing going for it, and it felt like the emotion from the original was pretty much stripped away entirely. And if you watch this without watching the original, you'd probably say, that was good, that was fine. But it rushed through so many of the plot elements that made the original, to me, so amazing. And this movie actually felt shorter than the original, which is surprising, but it also felt so much more uninvesting, because it just rushed through these story beats constantly, and it didn't feel like it ever had any significant meaning to what the original was. Now, there are things I really, really liked in this movie. Some of the sequences when they're training are still exciting. There are some scenes where they remake them that's good. Of course, the story is still inspiring. Of course, the character is still good, and her arc is quite good towards the end of the film, but it's how it's presented here that isn't as well presented. It's just done far weaker. But there's a level to this film that I feel like you can praise its story, you can praise its character, but you can't justify reasons for this movie being good because of that, because this movie didn't create those things. That was created in the original. That's why it's a remake, so you've got to judge it on how well it remakes it, how well it brings it to live action, and to me it fails on that part. It doesn't mean it's a bad movie. I think it's visually stunning. There are some beautiful shots. There's obviously a lot of CG used, but I think it looked honestly magnificent. And I think some of the shots were really stunning, and it is a very visually appealing movie. Saying that, though, a lot of the direction and a lot of the action was very poor. I didn't like how the action was filmed. It just felt very off to me. It was quite difficult to tell what was going on. One thing I really don't like about this movie, though, is just the fact that it really does strip away the emotional weight from the first one. That family, her doing it for her family, her having to hide her womanhood, everything like that is just done in such a bland way here, and I can't really describe how bland it does it. It's just that the original had some form of flair behind it that did that, and this movie doesn't. But even not comparing it to the original, just stripping it aside from it, the pacing was still massively off. It didn't feel like it allowed you to seep in moments. The bits where it slowed down for a bit, I actually really, really liked and thought they were good. But the action, how it just rushed through everything, it felt sort of like a hodgepodge of sequences from the original animation Mulan put into live action and just wasn't paced together well. And it just didn't really work for me in that way. The acting was good, it was fine. The scenes that they do remake and this character and story beats are still there. It just feels off to me. Like that scene in the original Mulan where they're having that big song and dance and it's just a very cheerful moment, and then the song just cuts off immediately and it just pans across a village of dead bodies and this massacred village, and everyone just sits there in shock after a happy song. That level of darkness and grittiness, and also happy and cheerfulness that was in the original Mulan, feels like it's gone here. If they just took this story, I feel, and just tried to make it its own thing on live action, implemented some of the new ideas they had in this movie and really bound that up, and didn't focus on remaking the original, just focus on making it live action Mulan, I feel like this movie probably would have been very, very good, and if they actually had some interesting direction behind it. Again, it's not bad, it's not some of the worst live-action Disney remakes, it's not some of the best. My favourite live-action Disney remakes were probably The Jungle Book and Beauty and the Beast. They did a really, really good job of bringing that similar magic to the screen. Movies like The Lion King and Aladdin that came out last year sort of didn't really do that at all. They felt very unnecessary. They felt like they worked far better in animation, but they were at least trying something and at least were sort of experimental in what they were trying to do. Did it work? No, but they did try something. This movie felt like it was just in the middle. It tried some things, it didn't try other things, and it just sort of left me feeling meh and bland. Wasn't a huge fan of this one, and if you've seen the original Mulan, you might watch this and be really disappointed by it, or you might sit there and have a good time. I don't know. I can see a lot of people being entertained by this film, but the thing is, I've sort of had enough of these live-action remakes, and Mulan is the one live-action remake I actually really wanted, and really wanted to see done well, and it wasn't. I'm gonna give Mulan a C. I'm also going to give this movie a 5 out of 10. I would recommend checking out the movie. It does have some interesting things in it, and if you are a fan of the other one, then I think you will enjoy parts of this movie, but I just found it really bland, and I was hoping for something more. Guys, let me know what you thought of the new Mulan down below, and of course, thanks for watching. Make sure to check out some of my reviews on Letterboxd, and also my reviews for other things coming out soon. Guys, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it, and goodbye.